Thanks and welcome to OffiCenters, and coming today to talk about our topic for the year. And a couple of things that we wanted to do before we got started was, we went through the holiday time, and it was it's always our biggest event of the year when we do our holiday luncheons. In fact, this year we served over 500 of our members at the 7 locations, so it was really crazy. And there's somebody who's always there for every event that we have, and we call him our unofficial mayor of OffiCenter, but today I'm trying to make it official. Because I got you a name badge, Mr. Bud. Come on up and get this. It says Bud Sanders, mayor of OffiCenters. You can wear this proudly. I'm going to put this on you. I told you, last year we said it was unofficial. This year I've said it's unofficial. But it's now going to be strictly official because we got you and we're going to give you the pin. Bud Sanders. Mayor of OffiCenters, how cool is that, Bud? I'm going to put it right here. And it's got a magnet, so you don't have a pacemaker, do you? Because otherwise I'd hate to screw that up. My dad had one, so I had to have been careful with something like that. So here he is, Mr. Bud. Thanks for showing up today. I said we also picked our theme for the year, and Tim was a close runner-up, so I said, just show up, Ambassador Tim Voit. Come on, Tim. He's gonna say our two. I have to say, as we're looking today, this is my VIP list right here, and my very special people. Just show up, Ambassador. So our person who had our topic for the year and the mayor of OffiCenter. Can you take a picture of us, Lisa?
Yep.
Come on.
Yay. Oh, perfect.
And with that, we'll start. These people just show up. And Tim and I are going to share some stories today and a few other things. As we were preparing for this, I was looking through data because in our business, the co-working industry, there's a lot of data right now that says what's going on. We're having this huge growth. All of these global entrants are in the market. So I wanted to give you some numbers. Right now, they're saying there's over 30,000 co-working spaces in the world, with some of the biggest growth in Asia Pacific. When you see the United Kingdom compared to, here we have Europe and the Middle East and Africa, a big, huge growth in the United Kingdom, which is so much smaller than the whole of the Americas. Just over 6293. Now, I'm wondering if they're talking about co-working spaces traditionally or our hybrid, which is offices and co-working together. But you can see that just from last year, we've got some real huge growth in our industry. In the United States right now, they've said a 5-year forecast, 542,000 co-workers in 2017, and with a forecast of well over 1 million in their 5-year forecast. So we're saying within 2 years. And I think these numbers are going to be low as far as who's co-working and how many people are co-working in the United States. All this data is from Ergonomic Trends 2019, a survey that was just published last week. I thought that you guys would be interested in this because they did pricing data from all over the US. And they found out that on average, the US monthly rate for co-working, the highest in Washington, D.C. for a co-working plan, $843 a month. The lowest they found was in Houston at $220 a month, with most of them in the report were in the means $450 to $500 was about the average. They must not have done us because you all know that our basic plan is $119 a month. We would have dropped that down, so we're almost half of what they figured was the lowest. So I'm telling you, Minneapolis has the best value per dollar. That was just my own determination after seeing the numbers, right? But they also talked about, they did, of those people that were in the spaces, they had done a big survey. And 82% of the respondents reported that co-working has expanded their professional networking. This was of the 500,000 or so people that were looking at the surveys and the suites that were filling it out and the co-working spaces that were filling out the data. 64% said their co-working network was an important source of work and business referrals. I'm going to show you the OffiCenters survey that we took at the end of August last year. But this is just from, like I said, this global co-working trends ergonomic report. They talked about co-working and wellness. They said that the average co-worker interacts with 1 to 4 members per day. Not at OffiCenters, right, Jim? 1 to 4, that seems low to us, right? But that's what they were saying as a global piece, 1 to 4 people per day in the spaces when you're coming in, which is a lot more than if I'm working at home. There's nobody standing by my coffee machine, so I'm usually on a 0 average if I'm working at home. So 1 to 4 even seems big, but I hate to think about how many people we could run into in a day at OffiCenters, especially if you went to more than one center. 79% said they expanded their social networks. 55% agree they feel like they're in a community. 31% say they somewhat feel that they're in a community. 83% are less lonely, which is great because we say isolation is one of the biggest things about working at home. 89% say they are happier. It leads to more happiness. I just thought that some of this was interesting. Some of it, and you would find it interesting because when I was reading it, I thought it was kind of interesting.
That's true, Lori.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, a gentleman from our office came to me and said, "What, can you help me here?" And I said, "Yes." Within about 2 months, I had an assignment. I finished it last week. And it was a very nice assignment. But you do get referrals and you get.
Absolutely, and we're going to make time. As soon as I go through the couple slides, Tim's going to tell his stories about what happens when you show up, and I want all of us to participate because we've all got some great stories, especially those who've been here a long time, right, Mr. Bud? We got lots. So I just wanted to talk about, they were talking about co-working and personalities. They said that 30% say they're extroverts, 22 introverts, and some of them are mixed, ambiverts. But I think that sometimes you get people who are really, really social. You get some people who may not be the ones who reach out all the time, but everybody can find someone to work with within the context of just working together. Okay, so, when I first started out in this business and 30 blah, blah years ago, and then 7 years ago to really target people who are working at home, I just started going to a bunch of places and talking to people who worked at home and going to every networking group that was available and finding out what is it that you love about working at home. And so people would tell me, you know what, I love the commute. The economics for my business are really great. You can multitask, so you can do, you can put dinner in the oven, or you can take care of the pets. You can do all of these different kinds of things. I know that people used to tell me that the dress code rocks. Now, I have to say myself, when I've been working in my home, or if I was working down in Arizona, if you could see some of the things I wore, I think I have to get out amongst people because I've got like plaid on here, and then I had a polka dotted vest on and all these, and I'm looking at myself thinking, this just doesn't go. We need to get out amongst some other people because I'm starting to look like a hobo. So there's a lot of things that why we choose home. But when we said, there's challenges to working at home, a lot of challenges. You can see I have 2 challenges right there, 2 dogs. And then it could be the kids. It could be, trying to find a place to work on top of your kitchen table or some place to actually put all of the things. And then I always tell people, is work something you do in between loads of laundry? Sometimes we need to focus on our business, especially if that business is what's making you your money. That you need to put aside some of the other tasks and make your business first. Unless it's a fill-in-the-blank business and you don't, home comes first. But for a couple hours a week, I think it's great for someone to say, I just focus on business. And these were some of the reasons why we created the programs. Because I found out that with all the good things that happened at home, the number one was we don't have peer interaction. It's too much isolation. Overall, like I said, people told me all kinds of reasons why they loved working at home, but the reason they didn't like working from home was because of isolation. And I say, think of this. Tim, you probably heard me say this. Let's say we put someone in prison and they do a really bad thing while they're in prison. What do? they put them in isolation. Why would you want to punish yourself with isolation? It's one of the worst things that can happen to us during a day, and you're actually making yourself less productive by isolating yourself from the rest of the world. You need to get out. You need to find people to bounce ideas off. And in order to do that, sometimes showing up is the answer. So this is why we created all of these things today, and then our survey results. This was from a survey that we took of about, we almost had over a third of our members participated in the survey last year. 77% of our members say they feel less isolated. 84% say they're more productive. 72%, which is about where it was in that global survey too, said they make meaningful connections with other professionals. 64% say they've attended our education, our workshops, or special events. 55% use more than one of our centers. 95% that Office Center provides their business a work awesome experience. So I just wanted to give you some data, looking about the data that we had earlier and the data that we have at Office Centers, and I thought it was interesting comparison. So what we say is the magic happens here. You just need to show up. We'll stay on that slide. It's going to be the backdrop for Tim. Tim is going to tell you about his experiences with just showing up and why we chose the theme for the year. And then we'll ask all of you if you want to participate as well. If you're here and you participate with us today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to look at some of our new digital signage. I'm going to give you a marketing piece for anybody who shares a great story. So, Tim, you're up next. I'm just going to trade chairs with you.
Okay. Well, congratulations for everybody here because you just showed up, right? So maybe this wasn't some of your plans maybe a day ago, but somebody said you should show up. And you know what? You said, yeah, sure, there's lunch, right? There's always a good reason to come over to Woodbury because there's usually food involved, right? So one of my taglines is just show up and the magic happens, is because that's what kind of goes on in my world. So I get the opportunity to actually help people. So I actually get to run a job transition group right out of here called a White Box Club for professional executives. And the reason I do those things is because it provides me energy, and I get a lot of good feedback because people, like anything, they're trying to figure out how to, trying to find out what to do, how to do this. And so it just offers them an opportunity to be with other people that can help them in a great space, and there's a lot of energy. But the reason how I found the Office Center was I actually had a meeting in the Office Center over at Park. And one of the members said, how come you're not a member, Tim? And I said, they're too expensive. And he told me how much it was. And I said, oh, wait a minute. And you can also then have one of your partner, Wes Roper, can be a part of this. And I'm like, I spend more money on coffee doing this, and the big joke was our headquarters for our office was the Panera over in St. Louis Park in the West End, right? So I'd go to Wes today and said, are you going to the office today? And that'd be code for, yeah, we're going to show up over at, so then I found out the Office Center now has all of those locations to buy all of our meeting spots. It was a natural thing to do. But what I didn't understand was I thought this was just a professional place to work. But what happened was, as I started to show up, I went to all the networking events that the Office Center has offered, and I'd walk up to people, and I'd go, Nathan's right there, and I said, hey, Nathan, what do you do? And he'd tell me, and I go, you know what? I think I can help you with your business. Here's what I do. And so we became partners. So just by showing up at the Office Center. Now, another thing is Sarah is sitting right over there. And somebody told me one day, you should meet Sarah. And I decided to show up one day. So Sarah was actually doing a meeting down at Dixie's down on Grand Avenue, and I saw out there an Eventbrite, so I said, I'm just going to show up. So I showed up and introduced myself, and the rest is history. Sarah's one of my closest people that I work with. We connected. We have a lot of the same things in common, how we think about it, and what's in common with most of these people is they show up, and because they understand that that's when the magic happens, because you never know who you're going to talk to, you never know who you're going to meet. That might be a client, might be a partner, or might become your best friend, right? So really, the thing about it is, I'm trying to look at my note here. So really, the issue is that, so the other thing I really focus on is if you help enough people get what they want, they will help you get what you want. And so I get to see that all the time. So really, I just tell people, now there's two people here, there's two gentlemen that are here today. I was at the Crossroads, another networking event I do, or group I do for job transition. I told everybody in the meeting, I'm inviting you for free lunch at the Office Center today. You just have to show up. So congratulations, guys, you showed up. The rest of them, maybe you're not sure who you should go talk to Nathan. For everybody else in the room, you're sitting next to Bud. He's the mayor. So, yeah. So it's really it's just a mindset, a different way of thinking of things. Really, very simple. Because if you go to different events, so I show up everywhere. So one of the gentlemen said, after we met at Park, I was at an event the next day, and the guy walked up to me at the next event, and he said, I should put a GPS tracker on you because I should just follow you because you seem to show up everywhere. And so that's intentional. I do that. I mean, I purposely do that because I truly am very excited about whoever the next person I'm going to meet, because I don't know how I can help them. So.
Has it impacted your bottom line?
Oh yeah, so I doubled my business the day I walked in the Office Center. I started a referral group when we came in here, and within 5 months we had 21 people that we work with, and all we do is we have a happy hour that I invite them to once a month that they can get together, and the whole idea is these are really good people that you should get to know. Because, and if you do learn how to maybe help them, they can help you. And you just never know, because you're a sole entrepreneur. You need all the help. So I always tell people, when you worked in corporate America, you had a support mechanism team, right? You had your sales and marketing and finance and all those people. So now you're out here by yourself. Why don't you have those people? And they go, yeah, it makes perfectly good sense, but they don't. Because everybody is worried about just working by themselves. And the worst thing you can do is you have to get rid of this. So we'll do a little therapy session here. So most of you are okay with this, right? You're all from Minnesota. You've been here long enough, right? Get over it. So why do I say that? Why do I tell you to get over it?
It's snowing, get going, whatever.
So really the issue is if you're an entrepreneur, if you're going to go out and do business yourself, one of the things you have to get over is you're pretty proud about doing everything by yourself. You figured it out. You do great at YouTube and Google. That's your main place, and you do it. You don't ask anybody for help. So the one thing is, if you're going to go do this yourself, go out and do your own business. Do not do that. The best thing you're going to be able to do is find partners and find people that can refer you to your clients. And that's what we do. I went and did that because I do a lot of different things. I don't have time to work in my business half the time. So I better have somebody working on it. So really, it's a real simple
You just said
concept.
that this morning. When you came in, one of the things on our website is you do what you do best.
Yeah,
And let us take care of some of the rest
Exactly.
of that. So it's a good thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Because when you're working on what you do best, that's when you make most money.
Yeah, because I tell most people, what's your biggest issue? It's finding clients. And I'm like, so are you good at that? Well, I'm not. No, I'm a finance. I'm a CFO. I'm a marketing. Then I said, then why are you going to do that, right? So you need to go find people you can partner with that are opposite of you that can help you. So it's really simple. I don't do anything that's hard. Everything's very simple, but the problem is it's hard because everybody wants to make it more complicated. But anyway, yeah. So congratulations for showing up here today. I hear the sandwiches are fantastic.
We got good sandwiches today instead of pizza lunch. Thanks, Tim. Like I said, when we talk about this, these are some of the reasons why we say you can make a really big difference in your business and change the direction this year if you just take more opportunities to get out more with people and all the people that you're going to meet. Anybody else have a great story? Come on, tell me some story. Well, yeah, tell us a story. We love stories. All of us love stories, and you're an educator, so I know you're going to always tell us a good story, right?
Well, I mean, just yesterday.
Tell us your name.
Susan Taple, and I have two businesses. I have a commercial cleaning company, and I'm also an associate with Legal Shield. But yesterday I had a meeting with somebody that I hadn't met yet. And just to be able to invite him here where I know he can park and come in a nice office building. And, Aaron greets him professionally, offers him coffee, and then walks him down to the conference room where I'm at. Is night and it's night and day difference between meeting him at crowded Dunn Brothers. There's no table. We're squishing through tables to put our bulky coat somewhere. It's just a much different experience to be able to have a guest meet me like that. And then also I had a nice packet made for him because I have a fully functioning, totally robust copier here that I can use. So that makes a big difference too, and I'm not giving him something that I forgot to print and I'm doing it at home on my little dot printer. So it's just really elevated my business, and I'm grateful.
Guess what, Susan? You just won a marketing package, or $25 marketing package. Leo or Will are going to give you the information just for sharing your story. Thank you so much. That's one of the things that we say. What sets you? How many people in this room think that they are somebody else out there doing the same thing that they're doing? Yeah, all of us. So what's going to set you apart and make yourself different? If you're meeting somebody, I don't know about you, but I'm going to talk about me being in business. I have 7 locations. I've been in business 30 blah, blah years, whatever. If you want my business and you bring me to a coffee shop and try to pitch me through the noise and everything else, I don't think that I'm going to be as impressed as if you brought me into a location with a table and you and I are one-on-one and it looks like you're a part of a community. Because I don't know about you, but it doesn't feel like you've invested much in this business if you don't have enough to get me to a decent space.
Well, Lori, I also
And
think
place.
it's not just investing.
Come on up, Amy.
It's not just investing in yourself, but you offer a space that shows that you're investing in your future
Right.
customers or clients.
Right.
It's that first impression that makes everything, and you guys at OffiCenters always hit that out of the park.
Well, I think you guys have made good decisions. And let's face it, we've been together a long time. Yeah. From when you first started your business, and if we wanted to have a "you've come a long way, baby" moment, we could, right?
Absolutely. But a lot of that contributes to OffiCenters.
Well, that's a nice thing.
You
That's
know,
a nice thing.
especially when you're working between state lines.
Well, yeah, that's right. And you've got that when you're in Wisconsin, you're in Minnesota, and we finally came east so that you could at least stop halfway between. You didn't have to go all the way downtown to Union Plaza.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though I do love using all of them. So.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things too, that you can go to where your clients are when you're with us. But I'm saying even about the people who are the more than 500,000 people who are working in co-working spaces today have made good decisions about what's going to work best for them. And I think that when we see what we do on a daily basis, I know when I come into the office, I check a lot of boxes and check a lot of things off, and I'm much more productive than when I'm sitting home in my hobo outfit. Anybody else have a story for us that they want to tell? Come on up, David. David has made his home in that back booth since we opened the doors here almost 2 years ago. You know, that's been in 2 more months. It'll be 2 years here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one
And
of-
you were one of my first virtual that really, and I would say if there's 5 days in a week, you're here the majority. And I even have seen you. I saw you in Edina. You were leaving the parking lot, and I mean, you've been a lot of places with us, haven't you?
Do you have the GPS chip in here?
Yes, I know. I would like, but if I needed one between one of these guys, his would be mostly. I would find him sitting in that booth.
Yeah.
I don't need to GPS chip him. But
I'm
tell
kind
us.
of like the old Beach Boys. You know,
Yeah.
I get around.
Okay,
Anyway, enough.
that's a good one.
I will try again. For me, just a real quick story. I just realized. I mean, I had the best year since I started my business 10 years ago. Last year. Now, I didn't have any clients last year that actually were from the people I met, but I felt the energy that I have is far better than I was doing what Lori was talking about. I was in coffee shops or Brugger's or at the library. Those are not places to really get business done. And just having a professional place, my clients have started to want to come here. Instead, I used to just go to their home or meet them at a coffee shop, and I said, "No, I like your place. I want to come there." And so, I added more clients than I had added in any year. And then just yesterday, I completed a plan for someone who found me listening to an ad on NPR, which wasn't my ad. It's for certified financial planners, and they were advertising or sponsoring. Well, he went on the internet, found me. Turns out he is an OffiCenter client of another location.
There you
and
go.
I'm thinking, well, once he saw where my office was, it gave him a level of comfort, like he already knew me. So when the first meeting, by the end of the first meeting, actually before the end of the first meeting, he said, I want to work with you. Let's do it. And it's like, great energy. So in summary, Lori found me when I was desperately looking for a new place to be able to just meet clients.
Because you were in a shared workspace before.
I was in a place where you could reserve a conference room, and my mail went there. But they didn't have a place like this to hang out, and that's why they joke because I like that corner I have a reason I don't need to talk about. But anyway, I like the corner.
We send him to the corner.
Send me to the corner. That's why I was a bad boy. But anyway, it's just like having my own private coffee shop with a bunch of friends. And I'll just say, shout out to Tim, because Tim is great for me because he's always positive. Even when he's probably feeling like crud inside, he doesn't say it. He's positive, and that's helps me a lot because I will, last thing I'll say is when I was working the coffee shop route, it was depressing for me. I'm a person, I love interaction. So I would try and make friends with people at the coffee shop, and that's nice, but
Yeah, they probably thought you were a creep.
they,
Looks like a creeper.
now you're reminding me of my college days. That's what she said. Right? I did make some friends. But anyway, the bottom line is this is a great place, great concept, and next time, someday I'll do my stand-up routine for you.
That's
anyway,
good. But you know what? Wait, we're gonna get you on the thing. We're gonna get you on the docket for that. For
okay,
sure.
I gotta come on, but it's like there's an old lawyer joke which everyone's heard a million times, but it's like, what do you call a million lawyers at the bottom of the sea? A good start. Well, it's kind of the same with financial planners, right? So anyway, thank you.
We got a lot of financial planners, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
we got
Thanks,
a ton of
David.
them.
Anybody else have a story they want to show? Come on up for month number 1, right? You're in month number 1.
Right. All right.
Tell everybody who you are.
Hey everybody, I'm the new kid on the block. Been here a month. My name is Chris Rasmussen. My company is Take Flight Media, and I create brand stories for small businesses.
Can I also
for
give you a
causes.
break? Chris traveled all the way from Minnetonka to this side of the river to just show up today.
There it is.
Was it worth it?
It totally is.
Okay,
worth
good.
it, yeah.
But tell us
So
your
I
story.
love the concept that you all presented at the end of last year with Just Show Up. It's fantastic. So I came about 2.5 hours early. I got here about 9:30, and coming to find out, I've already known Nathan from before. We reconnected, and a wonderful conversation for the last hour and a half before this started. And we have some overlap in what we do, and I was really inspired by the things that he's doing, the great things that he's doing with this company. Just a wonderful individual. So that's my Nathan story. But all that happened because I showed up. So it was wonderful. It was great to be here. So I'm in Minnetonka, and I tell my wife, I said, I have this smile on my face when I walk in there. I've probably had 4 meetings so far in Minnetonka. I've got 3 more booked in the next little bit here. So in fact, I'll be back here in 2 weeks to meet up with Nathan. So
How good
anyway,
is that?
I'm
Well,
thrilled.
thank you, and we're glad in month 1 that you're already showing up.
Yeah, thank
Because
you.
we're going to say, look at all the people who say it's really impacted their bottom line. We want you to have your best year ever this year too.
I love it.
And also make sure that Chris gets a marketing package too, and Amy and David. Okay, now anybody have any special business tips?
Okay,
Thank
thanks so
you
much.
so much, Chris. Thanks. We're glad to welcome. I want to tell you a story that I heard just this morning from Lisa, our salesperson. You know, we have had some difficulty downtown Minneapolis in renting some space because there's some big global entrants in our market down there who are selling co-working space. You've heard of the big boys on the block, the WeWork Industrial opened right next door. And so they're trying to come in and poach our members. They're marketing to our members. They're trying to take people who are our leads and entice them in with some super low packages, and then after they're there a couple of months, they raise the prices and do all those other kinds of things. So, you know, we've said we're having some problems downtown, and I'm like, how many times are we working? Are we really working to go into the North Loop and go to new networking events and things like that? We haven't done a lot of it because we've been busy with a lot of things that are going on. Last night, Lisa said they went. Guess what? They just showed up at a new event where they had 200 people. We already had somebody make a commitment for a virtual plan, and she's got another couple of leads. So you need to get out. If you're looking for new business, if you're looking for new and prospective clients, they aren't coming to you at your home. For those of you who are there, one of the reasons why when we started this, you know, I've been in this business a long time. I never had networking events. What I used to say to people, what do you love about OffiCenters? They'd always tell me my staff. Then they'd always say my neighbors, the people who are in the space. I even get business from them. And I would think that was what we did organically, just by completely not even taking a look at what it was that we did. We didn't hold any events. So I started to think to myself, what if we asked people in? What if we held networking events? Something that happened so organic could really intensify, and people could get more business. What if I said the only people that I'm going to buy from are my community? If there is a vendor or a service or something that I need, I look to my community first. My accountant is here, right? We can go on and on and on. It's our payroll service, it's our displays, it's what we buy from our members. So I want to walk the walk, and I ask all of our members, before you buy goods or services, look to see if someone in our community can provide that service. So that's a really good tip. If we all try to buy from one another, we will raise the tide for everyone involved. And now I'm going to give you, just in the last few minutes here, my tip for 2020. It's in the newsletter. You'll see it come out. But I just want all of you to say that as we're going forward, one of my best business tips is keeping it fresh. That means that we talked about the new digital signage. It's interactive. We can put videos on it and do some of the other kinds of things. We're updating our website. When you see the newsletter that comes out, it will be first thing Monday morning. We've changed from the Center Stage newsletter to Office Center Community News. So OC News is going to be our new masthead. We freshened everything up so it's a better looking in a mobile device if you're looking at it from your phone. Look at your website. Look at your social media. Yesterday, Will took a new headshot for me. If you haven't updated some of your images, some of your materials, some of your branding in a couple of years, it's time to freshen that up, because that is your online presence. That's where people are going to find you. That is your presence if you're at a business show. Those are all of those things. Amy, you know us. We always update our, these are Amy's, these cool stacks. and you can remove these and actually make sure that if there's, we still got Tina, so we don't need to freshen up Tina's picture. She still looks as young as ever. But if we wanted to do any of these kinds of things, freshening up what your image is to the outside world and freshening up your brand makes it really easy to do that if you look at it at the start of every year. Let's face it, it's the start of a new decade. Maybe some of you have had a website that you have had since the last decade, which was only last year, but you know what I'm talking about. So I want to take a look at it and see if it's time to freshen your look and add some new content or get a new picture or any of those kinds of things. So that's my tip for 2020 and for this month. Anybody else have a tip they want to share? Nathan's got one in the back.
Get to know the front desk staff. Phil and Aaron have been a wealth of knowledge and support for the business, and they're always willing to help out when needed. You know,
Okay,
very,
so
very important.
Nate's saying utilize the staff members that are here, or make sure that you have people who can help you and be a part of your team. And when you got to know them, you have been able to see that there's a wealth of resources there, right? Just helping for anybody who's on the street. This presentation will be available and linked in the newsletter on Monday. So if you know anybody else, as you're out and about, that you want to tell them about the magic of just showing up, we can go from there. Anybody else before we wrap and then we let everybody come together and make some new connections? Anyone else? Great. We are going to wrap this meeting. Of course, we're a little bit early, but some of the sandwiches are just here. Remember today we got lunch. It wasn't pizza lunch, so that's a good thing. Everybody learned a few things and get some new tips. Now I want you to meet some new people that you haven't met before, and see if we can use those resources. And before we leave, of course, I'm going to remind you that on Thursday the 6th, that's next Thursday, first Thursday of every month, that is our Park Network working group. And it's always a robust group, right, Lisa? Very, very good. So I know that if you come next Thursday morning between 9 and 10, of course, our mayor will be there because that's his home facility. And they're always there with coffee and donuts and things like that for a great networking morning. Join us on Tuesday, February 11th. That's for the AGC Global Connections. It's in the Minnetonka room. AGC is somebody who's a member, and they have some great events in the evening. One at Minnetonka, one here at Woodbury. On Thursday, the February 13th, from 4 to 6, we are hosting a member appreciation evening. It's going to be wine and chocolate. There may be some other things that we have in store. I've got some things up my sleeve, but I'm sure that will be a magic evening. Bring lots of business cards because we're going to have a great event over at our International Plaza. That's the one by the airport. On Tuesday, February 18th, from 11:30 to 1, back here for a slice of Woodbury. I'm going to tell you, we usually have 10 or 15 people register, and we usually have 30 people sign up. So come on over and have pizza, lunch, and networking over with us. And that's on Tuesday, February 11th. On Wednesday, the 19th, Woodbury Office Center will be here for another AGC event. And then our last, on February 27th at noon, there'll be a PowerLunch. And Ryan with AGSC Consulting will be speaking about building your business by having the tools to build your right team. So those are all the things that are happening in February. Make sure to look at our newsletter. That's going to be coming out on Tuesday. It'll be on the 3rd, because the 1st is on a weekend. Let me know if you like our new format. Also, we are looking for people who will give us information, news, and tips. If you want to be featured in the newsletter, we have well over 1,500 people on that list, and we have an open rate of about 35 to 38%. So if you want people to know about your business and news, put in some print writing, and it's a great thing you can attach to your website if you want to put in an article, if you want to put in something about a milestone or some success that you've had. We'd love to have you. Just make sure that you submit it to hello@OffiCenters.com or to news@OffiCenters.com.
It's Lisa's bad. We flipped it. Travis Sims with the AGC Group is going to be speaking on networking.
Okay, so we lied. Okay, on February the end, it's
gonna be right here.
Travis Sims, AGC. He's going to be speaking about networking, and he's an expert networker. So I think it'll be a really good one. So Power Lunch again here. So Woodbury. We have a lot of stuff going on at Woodbury. That sounds good. Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. And let's get together and do some networking. And if anybody wants, Will, you could might be a great time to do a snippet if you want to do a video tip that we can either put in this week at Office Center or in the newsletter. Come on over and we can do some filming too because we're all set up for it. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.